Judge Arthur Engoron, the judge overseeing Donald Trump's New York fraud trial, absolutely went nuclear on Donald Trump's lawyers, Cliff Roberts, and Alina Habba, following their very flippant response to a request he made of them earlier this past week. So just to refresh everybody's memory, Engoron early last week had sent messages both to Donald Trump's legal team and to the state's legal team saying, hey, listen, New York Times says that Alan Weisselberg is about to accept a plea deal for perjury that he committed during this trial. So if he committed perjury, and that relates to an incident that happened back in October where he allegedly lied about talking to Forbes about the valuation of Trump properties. So anyway, Engoron said in the original letter, like, hey, if this is a thing, somebody needs to tell me what the hell's going on here. Trump's lawyers, as I talked about the other day, responded to Engoron and said, hey, dude, relax, man. It's the New York Times. You can't believe everything that you read. I'm paraphrasing, of course. But they did. They said, like, you can't base it on a report from the New York Times, Judge. Grow up. Engoron got pissed. And again, Engoron's about to enter his judgment, and it's a very stupid idea to piss him off. But Cliff Robert and Alina Habba both responded, and the responses seriously pissed off the judge. So late in the week, he sent this response to them. If someone pleads guilty to committing perjury in a case over which I am presiding, I want to know about it. You and your co-counsel have been questioning my impartiality since the early days of this case, presumably because I sometimes rule against your clients. That whole approach is getting old. I have not taken, do not plan to take, and did not suggest or hint that I would take judicial notice of the subject New York Times article. However, if Mr. Weisselberg publicly confesses to having committed perjury about a significant matter in the case before me, or if he pleads guilty to such perjury at any time before I issue my final decision, I will research and consider what the law allows. That's basically Engoron's way of saying that if this guy comes out and says he committed perjury, if he gets a plea deal from Alvin Bragg, I'm about to throw the GD book at you and your client. And you're all going to suffer because you couldn't answer a simple response, a request for information. All you had to say was, I am not aware of any potential plea deals. That's all they had to say. That's what the prosecutor said. They're like, hey, we don't know anything about any of this, but, whatever. Maybe it's happening. Maybe it's not. We don't know. That's a fine response. The Trump's lawyers, all they had to say was like, Judge, we learned about it from the New York Times too. We don't know. And the judge would be like, okay, fair enough. Instead, they attacked the judge, accused him of making a ruling basically on a New York Times article, pissed him off, and now he's saying, I'm going to sit and wait. I'm going to hold off for some time. Let's see what Weisselberg does. And of course, if Weisselberg, were to come out and accept any kind of plea deal, Engoron had already said that he was going to strike Weisselberg's entire testimony, which is going to hurt Donald Trump. But even if that didn't happen, I'm pretty sure at this point that Engoron is so pissed off and he knows what happened in his own courtroom anyway. Like, he doesn't need the information because he already knows it all. Trump's going to get everything taken from him. Everything. I have no doubt in my mind at this point. Trump's lawyers were not just bad at lawyering, but they were also just assholes. Like, it's one thing if you're a bad lawyer with a little bit of humility. At least treat the judge with respect, that the position deserves, but they couldn't even do that. So they were bad and they were jackasses. And there's a good chance it's going to cost Donald Trump literally everything he has.